So thank you so much, Julie and Steve, for agreeing to chat with me today about our Friendship Evangelism stuff. And I just wanted to ask you how you've been praying for your chosen people and building up a relationship with them. What is it you've been doing?
Well, obviously we have been praying since we started on this Friendship Evangelism project for this year. As you may well know, we haven't been in the area a huge length of time. So we don't have work colleagues as such or other friends outside of the church to really focus that on. So we've chosen to focus on some of our neighbours, some of whom have been here since we arrived, and another younger couple who moved in December. So we've just been praying for the opportunities to start having conversations with them to make a friendship. And we have actually been blessed with several occasions when we've been able to stop and have a chat. And even one of them making comment from her that she thought we did quite a lot helping out in the community. She'd seen us as we came back from food bank. So that was an opportunity to mention just in passing that, yes, we did volunteer at the food bank, and that takes place in the church in Wigton, and just left it at that. You know, it hasn't been trying to be too forceful.
I mean, in truth, we didn't even know who was on each other's list on the card until last week. But interestingly, God's answered prayer. Three of the people we've had on the cards have allowed us to have a conversation.
That's brilliant.
It's not about rushing it. You can't rush this. This is, you know, intentionally we've actually, you know, sought to have these be given the opportunity to talk. We hadn't seen hide nor hair of the neighbours and the new neighbours all through December and into the new year, and we've spoken to them 3 or 4 times now, and they're the people that moved away. We were developing a friendship with anyway, and we're still staying in touch with them. And I will see husband because actually the golf course is a good place to go sometimes, because you can, if you're walking around the countryside for 4 hours with somebody, then surely there's got to be given a chance to actually share in some way. I mean, I've already shared in the golf course anyway with others because you know, they say, well, why won't you play golf on a Sunday?
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's really good to hear those kind of conversations, and that is the way you want it to happen, really, isn't it? Those sort of natural conversations. And it sounds like you've had some sort of God-given opportunities to speak with your neighbours, which is fantastic. You know, when we start praying for those opportunities, we start seeing them more often, don't we?
To be fair, I mean, I think, well, maybe I was quite sceptical about whether that actually would work, but then we underestimate what God can do, I suppose. I mean, because let's be fair, we won't be trotting all of our couples down to church on Sunday when it first opens or anything like that. You know, that's way down the line and not in our hands. All we can do is sow the seed.
Yeah, and I think that's really, you said that before, didn't you, that it's a long process, and that's a great way to see it. You know, it is a very long journey, and for some people it's a very, very, very long journey, isn't it? But I noticed you used the word intentional just before. So just before we finish, I thought I might ask you kind of what do you think it means to be intentional with our relationships?
Well, in some ways, I think the intentional part is actually setting out to forge a relationship of any kind to start with, because if you look at the next door neighbours, they're not exactly, you know, in our age group, you know, or maybe, well, certainly probably we haven't found out yet whether they've got the same kind of social issue, you know, not issues, but social interests as we might have, you know. And I think that's a challenge within the whole issue of friendship evangelism, in that most of the people doing friendship evangelism, their circle of friends are like-minded people. And I think there's a big challenge for us churches is to get outside of the church, because actually the people that Jesus was conversing with weren't, you know, the same, you know, people that we would normally have contact with, if you see what I'm getting at. For me, that passage that I read in, I think Julius Steele or whatever, Hannah Steele's book, was actually very, very helpful, and that's this: that actually, if you're cultivating friendships just to get them into your church, that's not right. It won't work. But if you're cultivating relationships to get them into the kingdom of God, then that's totally different.
Yeah, and I guess for me, that's that intentionality, isn't it? It's not that it sounds a bit like we've got an ulterior motive in a way, doesn't it? Like, oh, I'm only being friends with you because I want to get you to church. Whereas actually, it's just, I think for me, that intentionality is, like you say, building that relationship, but also just having it in the back of your mind all the time when you meet those people. How can I show them God's love today? Which I suppose we should do for everybody we meet, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should, because we should be living God's love in our everyday lives. And I think that's the first thing people should see anyway, because if we're saying something which is contradictory to the way we live our lives, then it's counterproductive.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for speaking to us today, and I look forward to hearing more from you at some other point in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.